Hello students. So today we are going to discuss about how can we find the oxidation number of carbon when we have compound having carbon, hydrogen and oxygen atoms only. So these are very important categories of compound because carbon, hydrogen and oxygen makes variety of different type of compounds. So we have a ready-made equation here. So as we can see, we need number of oxygen and number of hydrogen divided by number of carbon. So we have simple equation, number of oxygen multiplied by 2 minus number of hydrogens divided by carbons. It will give us oxidation number of carbon. Now as we know, oxygen carries -2 charge. That's why number of oxygen is multiplied by 2. Hydrogen carries +1 charge, so total number of hydrogens will be minus, or it will be subtracted from it, and then the whole charge will be divided in total number of carbons. So that's why we have to divide it with number of carbons. So we have few examples so we can understand it. We have CH3OH, which contains 1 carbon, 4 hydrogen and 1 oxygen. So oxygen multiply by 2, number of oxygen multiply by 2 divided by number of hydrogen and divide by total number of carbon, which is 1 in this case. So that means you will get -2. So that means in CH3OH carbon carries -2 charge. And now let's verify it with our regular technique. So we don't know about carbon's oxidation state. We have 3 hydrogens, that means +3, then 1 oxygen, that means -2, again 1 hydrogen, that means +1. It is equal to 0. So 3 plus 1, 4, and -2, 4 minus 2 is equal to 2. When 2 we shift it on other side, you will get -2. So that means it carries -2 charge. Now next thing we have HCOOH, that means 1 carbon, 2 hydrogens, 2 oxygens. So let's put this in the equation. So 2 multiplied by 2, so first 2 represents number of oxygen and we have 2 of it, multiply by 2 minus 2, which represents this last 2 represents number of hydrogens, we have 2 as well, divide by 1 because we have 1 carbon. So from this calculation you will get +2. So carbon carries +2 charge in this case. And let's verify it with our regular technique. So hydrogen carries +1, carbon we don't know about it, oxygen we have 2 of it, so both of them will give us -4 charge, again 1 hydrogen which gives us +1. Total is equal to 0. So from this calculation we need +2 from carbon, so +2 +1 +1, total +4 -4, it is equal to 0. So carbon carries +2 oxidation charge. Now today's next topic is exceptional cases of evaluation of oxidation number. Now we already discussed some of the exceptional cases in textbook. They are also mentioned here, so we are not going to discuss them in detail, but let's see them anyway, and then we will move on next or new exceptional cases. So first one is oxidation number of sulfur in H2SO5. So if we calculate the oxidation state using our regular method, we have 2 hydrogens, so it will give us +2. We have 5 oxygen, which will give us -10, and overall oxidation state is 0 because it is neutral molecule. So that means sulfur should be in +8 oxidation state, and it is also calculated here as well. So as we know, sulfur maximum shows +6 oxidation state. So +8 is not possible for the sulfur. So we can say that Caros acid actually has some different structure. It is not regular structure, and we already discussed about it. It contains peroxide linkage as we see here. So 2 of the oxygen has -1 oxidation state. So if we calculate as 2 oxygen carrying -1 charge and 3 oxygen carries -2 charge, you will see that sulfur has +6 oxidation state, and same is calculated here. Sulfur has +6 oxidation state. So that's why it is exceptional case, because not all of the 5 oxygens are in similar oxidation state. Now second example is Marshall's acid or H2S2O8. If we calculate using our traditional method, then you will get +7 charge, but again it contains peroxide linkage, and that's why it is not in +7 but it is in +6 oxidation state. And here is the structure of Marshall's acid. As we can see, we have peroxide linkage. That means out of 8, 2 oxygens are in -1 oxidation state instead of -2. And lastly, we have CrO5. Oxidation state of Cr in CrO5 using traditional method will be +10, but as we can see, it is actually 2 peroxide linkage. That means out of 5, 4 oxygens are in -1 oxidation state. Only one oxygen carries -2. So using that this new oxidation state of 4 oxygens, you will see that chromium carries +6 oxidation state. So these are already mentioned in textbook. So now let's move on our new type or type 2 exceptional cases. So these exceptional cases generally carries a covalent and coordinate covalent bondings. Now what is the difference in covalent and coordinate covalent bonding? So first let's discuss it. When a molecule forms covalent bond, let's say between two atoms A and B, then if bond is covalent, then one electron used in this bond belongs to A and second electron used in this bond formation belongs to B. That means we need two electrons to form a bond, single bond, and both of the elements shares one electron each to form a single bond. This is called covalent bonding. Now let's assume another situation where C and D elements are bonding with each other. Now in this case, again we have a single bond, but in this bond formation both of the electrons, let's say, belongs to C only. That means we have two electrons and both of these electrons belongs to C. That means D do not provide any electrons in this bond formation. So this is called coordinate covalent bond, in which one of the element provides two electrons and second element provides empty orbitals to accept those electrons, and that's how you get coordinate covalent bond. And usually coordinate covalent bond is described with arrow from the donor to acceptor. C is called donor because it is giving two electrons, and D is called acceptor because it is accepting the electron. So simply from the donor to the acceptor. Now first point in this exceptional case is, for each covalent bond between dissimilar atoms, the less electronegative element is assigned the oxidation number of +1, while the more electronegative element will be assigned with oxidation number -1. So nothing new is here, we already know it. When two different elements, as for example H and Cl, they combine with each other using covalent bond, then less negative element is assigned with +1 oxidation and second element is assigned with -1 oxidation state because it is more electronegative. Now keep in mind, when we have multiple bonds, then we have to repeat this thing. That means although we know that we hydrogen and chlorine can only form single bond, but let's assume they have double bond. Now if they have double bond, then hydrogen will get +2 charge, chlorine will get -2 charge. If they have triple bond, then hydrogen will have +3, chlorine will have -3 charge. That means per one bond, electropositive element gets +1 charge, electronegative element gets -1 charge. Now second and new rule is, in case of coordinate covalent bond between similar or dissimilar, doesn't matter they are same or not, but atoms, but the donor atom is less electronegative than the acceptor atom, an oxidation number of +2 is assigned to donor atom and oxidation number of -2 is assigned to acceptor atom. Okay, keep in mind, when donor is less electronegative, at that time donor is getting +2 charge per one coordinate covalent bond and acceptor will get -2 charge per one coordinate covalent bonding. And if we have opposite situation of it, that means donor is electronegative than the acceptor, in that case we will ignore the coordinate covalent bondings and we will assume it as simple covalent bond, and it will be clear from the following equation. So first one, we have comparison between two different type of bondings, HC triple bond N, which has triple bond and all of these three bonds are normal covalent bonds, and second NH double bond C with one coordinate covalent. That means it is also three bonds or triple bonds, but two are simple covalent and one is coordinate covalent. Two simple bonds are mentioned with simple dashes or lines, and coordinate covalent bond is mentioned with arrow. And it represents donor is nitrogen, which is electronegative, and acceptor is carbon, which is electropositive. So in this case, we have second type of situation. That means donor is negative than the acceptor. So in this case, we will assume this covalent bond as normal bond. That means we will assume it as triple bond between carbon and nitrogen. So what will be the oxidation number of carbon in this case? So as we discussed, when the donor is electronegative than the acceptor, then we will ignore the coordinate covalent bond. That means we will assume it is not coordinate covalent bond, but it is simple covalent bond. So that's why we have triple bond between nitrogen and carbon, and normal oxidation state of nitrogen will be used here. So all the elements present in this case, they are electropositive than the nitrogen. So nitrogen will get -3 charge, hydrogen will get +1 charge, and for the neutralization purpose, carbon carries +2 charge. So in this case, carbon has +2 charge. And same is mentioned in this calculation. So as we can see, we have one hydrogen, one carbon, and one nitrogen. So hydrogen carries +1 charge, nitrogen carries -3 charge, and if oxidation state of carbon is X, then X is equal to +2. Now similar situation is mentioned with normal triple bonded structure. When carbon and nitrogen, they are triply bonded attached with each other, then we will follow our regular normal rules. And as per our rule, hydrogen will get +1 oxidation state, nitrogen will get -3 oxidation state, so that carbon should be in +2 oxidation state, and overall it can make a neutral molecule. So that's why in this case carbon is in +2 oxidation state. But if situation is opposite, that means if we have some structure something like this, when carbon donates one of the electron pair as coordinate covalent bond towards the nitrogen. Now in this case, we have electropositive element carbon, which is donating electron pair towards the nitrogen. In this case, for the two single bonds, that means for this one and for this two, that means two normal covalent bond, carbon will get +1 charge, nitrogen will get -1 charge. So that means if we consider first two bonds only, that means carbon has +2 charge, nitrogen has -2 charge. For the new coordinate covalent bond, carbon will get +2 for this single bond, and nitrogen will get -2 from the single bond. And then we have hydrogen. Okay, so we have this type of situation. Hydrogen will have +1 charge, which will give carbon a -1 charge. So that means nitrogen will be in total -4 charge, carbon is in total +3 charge, and hydrogen is in +1 charge. So these are the charges: hydrogen +1, carbon +3, and nitrogen -4, if we have this type of situation. Now we have third type, in a molecule containing two or more atoms of same or different elements in different oxidation state. As for example, we have Na2S2O3. Now if we use our traditional method, then as per our traditional method, now it is already mentioned here, calculation is already there, sulfur will have +2 charge. Now nothing wrong with +2 charge, because it is normal for sulfur to have +2 oxidation state. But some of the practical do not support this. And one of the treatment is mentioned here. When it is treated with dilute H2SO4, then one of the sulfur will be precipitated and other sulfur will be oxidized. So here we have a reaction of Na2S2O3 with H2SO4. It gives SO2 and S. That means from these two sulfur, one of the sulfur will give us sulfur atoms. That means it will precipitate as solid sulfur. And second will oxidize in SO2. That means sulfur dioxide gas. Now you may ask, we have third sulfur here, but it is from H2SO4. Whole SO4 2 minus ion will combine with sodium. That means it will left hydrogen and it will combine with sodium. So nothing is changing in this SO4. So that's why we have to concentrate on these two sulfur. One of the sulfur is oxidized in SO2, second one is precipitated as solid sulfur. So that's why we have to develop a structure, and structure is evaluated from the concept of chemical bonding, and here we have the structure. So as we can see in this structure, we have two different type of sulfur. One sulfur act as central sulfur atom and second one is coordinate covalent bonded. So this sulfur is coordinate covalent bonded and we have a central sulfur which is combined with all of the other elements. Now in this case, coordinate covalent bond is between same type of atom. That means one of the atom will behave as electropositive element, second one will behave as electronegative element. That's why this coordinate covalent bond will give us +2 charge from electron donating sulfur to -2 charge from electron accepting sulfur. So that means this sulfur has only one bond and it is coordinate covalent bond with the central sulfur. That's why this sulfur will carry -2 charge and all the remaining atoms will act as usual. Oxygen carries -2 charge, so this second oxygen also carries -2 charge, third oxygen also carry -2 charge, and sodium carries +1 charge. Now we have charges of all the atoms except central sulfur. So now we can find it. So we have 2 sodium, 3 oxygens, 1 sulfur which is coordinate covalent bonded and 1 central sulfur atom. Let's say it is X and total it is neutral, so overall it will be 0. Now 2 sodium carries +1 charge, so total +2. 3 oxygen carries -2 charge, so total -6. 1 sulfur is in -2 oxidation state, so -2 from it and X. Now when we calculate it, you will get X is equal to +6, because when -6 goes on the other side, you will get X is equal to +6. So central sulfur is in +6 oxidation state, and same is mentioned in this description. Now let's move on our second example, oxidation number of chlorine in CaOCl2. Now we have two different chlorines and this is bleaching powder. And actual structure of bleaching powder is CaOClCl. That means we have calcium which gives us +2 oxidation state. Oxygen is combined with chlorine, and as we know oxygen is more electronegative than the chlorine. So in this case chlorine will get +1 charge and oxygen is still in -2 oxidation state. So OCl will have total -2 plus 1, that means -1 charge. So Ca is in +1 and whole OCl is in -1 oxidation state and last Cl is also in -1 oxidation state. So +2 -1 total it will be neutral. So that means we have two different Cl attached with oxygen, it carries +1 charge and separately attached chlorine will have -1 charge. Then we have third example, nitrogen in NH4NO3. We have two different nitrogens in this case. And from our regular calculation, oxidation state of nitrogen will be as mentioned. Now there is one mistake here. We have two nitrogens here, N2H4O3. We have 2 nitrogen, 4 hydrogen, 3 oxygens. So for 2 nitrogen we have 2x. For 4 hydrogen we have +4. For 3 oxygens we have 3 oxygen with -1 charge, so it will be -2, not -1. So overall charges will be 2x is equal to +2, and that means x is equal to +1. That means each nitrogen has +1 oxidation state if we calculate it using our traditional method. Now out of two nitrogen, one nitrogen is in positive oxidation state, one is in negative oxidation state. Why? Because we have ionic compound here and it is made up from NH4 plus and NO3 minus. And that's why we have to calculate separately. In NH4 plus we have 4 hydrogens, so they will give us plus 4 charge. We have total plus 1 charge. As mentioned here, NH4 is positive ion, so nitrogen should be in minus 3 oxidation state. So that's why oxidation state of nitrogen in NH4 plus it is minus 3. In NO3 minus, total charge is negative, so total is equal to minus 1. We have 3 oxygens which gives us minus 6 charge, and if we need total minus 1, then nitrogen should be in plus 5 oxidation state. So 5 minus 6 is equal to minus 1. So that's why second nitrogen is in plus 5 oxidation state. Now next example is about Fe3O4. Now we already discussed about this example. Fe3O4 is mixture of two different oxides of Fe, ferrous oxide and ferric oxide. That means FeO and Fe2O3. So FeO contains plus 2 oxidation state of Fe and Fe3 contains plus 3. So out of 3 Fe, one has plus 2 oxidation state and 2 have plus 3 oxidation state, and average of all of these 3 will be 8 by 3. We already discussed about this example in previous lecture. So our next example will be sodium tetrathionate. That means Na2S4O6. Now let's calculate with our traditional method. So we have Na2S4O6. So 2 sodium will give us plus 2. 6 oxygens will give us minus 12. So 4 sulfur should be in plus 10 oxidation state, so that overall you will get 0. Plus 2 plus 10 plus 12 minus 12 is equal to 0. So 4 sulfur, they are in plus 10, that means each sulfur will be in 2.5 oxidation state, and it is not possible because the structure of this compound is as mentioned followed. So two sulfurs, they are attached with only sulfur atoms. So they have similar type of atoms with their bondings. That's why they will get 0 oxidation state. So both of the central sulfurs will get 0 oxidation state. Now all the remaining elements will behave normally. So oxygens will have minus 2 oxidation states. So all of the oxygens are in minus 2 oxidation state. Sodium, they are in plus 1 oxidation state. So if we calculate the sulfur present at the center, then you will see they have plus 5 oxidation state. So that means if we add all of these 4 sulfur together, that means we have 4 sulfur with different oxidation state. First sulfur is in plus 5 oxidation state, second sulfur is in 0 oxidation state, third again it is in 0 oxidation state, and last sulfur is in plus 5 oxidation state. So total will be 10. So average of 10, that means 10 divided by 4, that means 2.5. But this is not average. 2 of the sulfur carries plus 5 charge and 2 of the sulfur carries 0 charge. And same description is mentioned here. So sulfur attached with other atoms, they have plus 5 oxidation state, and sulfur atoms present at the center, they have 0 oxidation state. So these are the additional exceptional cases.